Welcome everyone. My name is Dale Collins from the Beale Air Force Operational Support Team. This is the third lecture in our Body Composition Improvement Program, and today we're going to talk about a topic in health and fitness that is vital for you to understand for fat loss, and that is your metabolism. Many people believe metabolism is something you either have or don't have. In reality, metabolism is dynamic and influenced by many factors, including muscle mass, activity level, nutrition, sleep, stress, and age. It will change over time, and your body will adjust your metabolism based on what you do and what you don't do. So today we're going to simplify metabolism into practical strategies that you can apply to your everyday life. The Body Composition Improvement Program uses a cyclical structure, meaning we do 12 weeks in a moderate caloric deficit for fat loss, which is where we are now, followed by 4 weeks of maintenance. If you continuously diet, your metabolism can slow, hunger hormones increase, fatigue rises, and adherence becomes very difficult. The maintenance phase is critical because it teaches how to maintain results instead of endlessly trying to chase weight loss. We're not just trying to lose weight. We're trying to lose fat and build a healthy lifestyle. Today's lesson on metabolism helps explain how many calories your body burns each day and why sustainable fat loss requires understanding energy balance. The goal is not starvation. The goal is creating sustainable physiological change. Metabolism refers to all the chemical reactions in your body that convert food into energy. Your body burns calories to support every function that keeps you alive and working. Movement, thought, breathing, tissue repair, building muscle, and fighting disease all use calories as fuel. The number of calories your body consumes can vary from one day to the next, so we need to look at how the body determines its caloric consumption. Your total daily energy expenditure is the number of calories your body burns on a given day, and it includes your basal metabolic rate, the thermic effect of food, physical activity, and non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So let's talk about these in a little more depth. Your basal metabolic rate is the energy your body requires to stay alive on a daily basis. This is the number of calories your body needs before we add any movement. As a general rule, the more muscle mass you have, the greater your basal metabolic rate. In other words, muscle equals metabolism, because muscle mass, unlike fat, is considered metabolically active. Thermic effect of food refers to the calories your body burns while digesting and absorbing the food you eat. Your body burns calories during the breakdown and the transport of carbohydrates, protein, and the fat that you eat on a daily basis. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis includes all movement outside of the structured exercise program, and these are things such as walking, standing, typing, fidgeting. These are your activities of daily living. The more active you are during the day, the more calories your body will burn. And then physical activity is the movement that's not included in your regular daily activities. The things we think about as running, spinning, weightlifting, yoga, etc., meaning exercise. Your caloric expenditure is the combination of all of these factors. Many people underestimate how powerful daily movement can be. Parking further away from the store, walking up the stairs, or even standing at your desk instead of sitting. This can account for burning as many calories as physical activity. The energy balance equation is fundamentally calories in versus calories out. Every diet program in the world is based on this same principle. And currently, there's over 40 diets worldwide, and they all use this equation. The only difference is how they want you to achieve the caloric deficit. So things like only eating certain foods, removing a specific food group, don't eat after 7 p.m., only eat in a small specific time window. These are all caloric deficit strategies. Now, weight gain occurs when caloric intake exceeds caloric expenditure. So if you eat 2,500 calories a day and you burn 2,000 calories, you have a surplus of 500 calories that your body has to store, and it chooses to store it as fat. Even if those 500 calories came from good, healthy sources, your body still stores it as fat. Fat is simply stored calories for later in case we need them. Weight maintenance occurs when your intake and expenditure are the same. You eat 2,000 calories, you burn 2,000 calories. You've gained nothing, but you've also lost nothing. Weight loss requires a caloric deficit. So if you eat 2,000 calories, but burn 2,500, you have a caloric deficit of 500 calories. Now, you burned these calories, but you have not eaten enough food. So your body must now break down something to make up this 500 calorie deficit. Now, in small amounts like 500, sometimes up to 1,000 calories, your body can break down fat to burn as fuel to make up for that caloric deficit. This is how we lose fat. But keep in mind, fat is a very slow, inefficient source of fuel. It is one of the last sources your body will choose. If the deficit is too great, your body cannot burn fat fast enough to make up this deficit. It now has to take calories from another area, and it's going to take it from your muscle mass, meaning it's going to break down muscle and burn it for fuel instead. While hormones, sleep, stress, and food quality matter greatly, body fat reduction still ultimately requires a sustained energy deficit. This is just basic physiology, not punishment. It's how our bodies work. The goal is a moderate and sustainable caloric deficit. For most people, reducing calories by approximately 300 to 500 per day is a great starting point. This may sound like a lot of food, but this is the caloric value of a candy bar. This leads to a safe rate of fat loss starting around half to 1 pound per week. And we create this deficit by reducing caloric intake slightly, increasing your physical activity or your non-physical activity level, and combining both of these approaches. The best way to create a caloric deficit is a combination of reduced calories and increased physical activity. How many calories do you take in on a daily basis? We recommend tracking this for 3 days to see where you are. How can we make small changes so you do not feel like you're starving or depriving yourself? Looking at the previous lecture, let's start by focusing on protein intake. This will help save your muscle mass and also help you feel full and satiated after a meal. Are you eating the recommended amount of protein every day? Focus on this change first. Slow, sustainable progress almost always beats extreme dieting long term. Slow and steady means fat loss. Extreme dieting results in muscle loss. Extreme caloric restriction often backfires. Aggressive deficits can increase muscle loss, metabolic adaptation, fatigue, nutrient deficiencies, cravings, and binge eating risk. The body is highly adaptive and will often reduce energy expenditure during severe restriction. For most people, over 1,000 calorie deficit per day is too much. Your body cannot burn fat fast enough to make up this much of a deficit. So it will start burning muscle mass to make up the difference. And remember, muscle equals metabolism. So when you burn muscle mass, you reduce your metabolic rate. If you continuously have too much of a caloric deficit, your metabolism can slow, hunger hormones increase, fatigue rises, and adherence often becomes difficult. This is one reason crash diets frequently fail long term. For many individuals, extreme caloric restriction means they lose a lot of weight quickly, but 60 to 70% of that loss is muscle mass. There are many equations and online calculators for estimating your caloric needs. A simple estimate for fat loss is body weight in pounds times 10. For example, a 200-pound individual may begin around 2,000 calories per day during fat loss. A simple starting estimate for maintenance is body weight in pounds times 14. For example, same 200-pound individual may need to eat 2,800 calories per day during the maintenance phase. However, these are estimates. Real-world adjustments should be based on progress, energy levels, recovery, adherence, and your weight. Body fat testing can also provide a more accurate basal metabolic rate estimate. Your caloric needs will also vary depending upon physical activity. These estimates do not include the days you exercise. In most online calculators, if you factor in your exercise, it will give you additional calories. You are expected to eat those because when you set up that calculator or tracking system, you put in your overall goal, which is to lose half a pound to a pound a week. If you do not eat those additional calories from exercise, you will find you are too low in your caloric intake and now may be outside that fat loss window and actually start to burn muscle mass instead. Calories are extremely important for weight loss, but food quality also matters. 100 calories from broccoli affects your body differently than 100 calories from candy. Nutrient-dense whole foods tend to improve your satiety, micronutrient intake, blood sugar control, recovery, and your overall health. Whole foods generally support better long-term outcomes than heavily processed foods. Unhealthy foods can spike your blood sugar and insulin levels. This can not only focus on long-term health, but day to day, these spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels can feel like an energy crash during the midday. Unhealthy foods can leave you feeling hungry again shortly, meaning you won't have the satiety, especially with a lack of protein. You won't feel full. You'll feel like you need to eat again. And unhealthy foods lack vital nutrition that your body needs to stay healthy. Failing to provide the proper macronutrients, meaning the carbohydrates, protein, and fat your body needs to repair and recover, it forces your body to make changes to your metabolism and health that are not in line with your goals. Today we discussed metabolism, energy balance, caloric deficits, and sustainable fat loss. You should currently be in a fat loss phase, and we recommend monitoring your intake for 3 days to see if your caloric intake aligns with your goals. Are you close to eating the correct number of calories for a moderate caloric deficit for you? Focus on consistency, not perfection. If you're within 100 to 200 calories, then you're doing great. If not, figure out what small adjustments you need to reach your caloric goal on a daily basis. Sustainable body composition improvement is built through small, repeated behaviors consistently over time. Don't worry about getting every day perfect. If you go over one day, that does not mean you go very low the next day. Focus on each day individually and focus on working on hitting your goal. Behavior change is one of the most important aspects of nutrition. So ask yourself, what current eating habits may be holding me back? What are the first steps I can realistically take to meet my caloric goals? What kind of self-talk do I use around food or health? Self-talk is very important. If you're basically saying bad things to yourself about yourself, it doesn't improve anything. You need to focus on giving yourself good self-talk to help you reach your goals. Many people are far more critical of themselves than they ever would be towards someone else. Take a moment to think about what food means to you. Is it comfort? Do you find yourself reaching for food when you feel down or you're having a bad day? Long-term change requires self-awareness, patience, and consistency. Thank you very much for joining us for this course, and we look forward to the next one.